The Houston Texans will be starting to make cuts to the roster in about another week, and there are going to be some guys that we're seeing now that won't be here when the season starts. It's just the situation with professional football. There's simply not enough roster spots to go around, and some will be on the outside looking in. The debate of who stays on this team and who leaves is an important one, and is one that's always filled with spirit. Whenever it gets down to that time, I embrace it fully, and I'm always prepared to debate. There's one guy the first think that would have a terrific chance to make the Houston Texans roster, and that's 2018 undrafted free agent Andre Chachere out of San Jose State. With many experts predicting that he'd be drafted, he found himself out in the cold, looking for some belonging to an NFL team. He was projected to be snatched up in the later rounds, but with past bouts that he had with injuries, it made NFL teams reluctant to use a draft pick on him. The Houston Texans decided to draft fellow teammate Jermaine Kelly in the 7th round, and was able to effectively pluck Chachere from the pool of UDFAs. I talked with Mohamed Bafaki on my podcast. He's a recent graduate of San Jose State who covered Chachere for The Sphere, the school's official sports blog, and had some interesting conversation to boot. It has been a nice go for athletic cornerback so far, and seems to get better and better with each week that he gets an opportunity to show his stuff out on the field. Sometimes the most effective talent does not necessarily reside at the larger football programs, and I think Brian Gain has made a nice hit in the UDFA market with Chachere. He's speedy, he's strong, and his 6-foot, 197-pound frame with 31 3/8 arm length and 9 7/8 hands is helping him get to his ultimate goal of being a professional football player. With Kareem Jackson moving over to the safety position, depth is now needed more than ever, with Jonathan Joseph and Aaron Colvin to be the presumptive starters. Outside of those guys, it's wide open for the backups. Josh Thornton was making a strong case until an injury resulted in him being cut from the team. Divergent has flashed here and there, but more from House of Houston. His mistakes continue to nullify his case to making the roster. Kevin Johnson's health remains in question, while Treston Deku, last season's 6th-round pick, is still developing and has yet to make his mark. I doubt that newly signed undrafted free agent Bryce Jones, who was cut from last season's roster, will make a dent in terms of our needs at the position. Johnson Batamosi's calling card is special teams, and although he's underperforming at the moment, that's where he'll be most of the time for this upcoming season. This leaves the door wide open for Chachere. To put things in perspective, this is how well Chachere did last week against the Houston Texans' second preseason game against the San Francisco 49ers. According to Pro Football Focus, subscription required, through 34 snaps, he received the highest grade on defense with a sterling 90.1. He also received the highest grade in coverage with a 90.4, his run defense, 62.5, and tackling grades, 53.2, lagged a bit, but it doesn't take away from his effectiveness at the position. This man was blowing me away with his disruptions of his defenders last week, and I think he'll be a nice add to this roster because of this. He was the 3rd most targeted cornerback, 4 targets, and allowed just 16 yards and 3 receptions. It's not perfect, but to compare, Batamosi gave up 79 yards off 6 targets and 5 receptions. Batamosi was the most targeted because apparently he had been anointed as the Matador by Kyle Shanahan. Next, 3 defenders that have earned playing time. Want your voice heard? Join the House of Houston team, write for us. But all in all, Chachere is going to make this team because of the immense body of work that he's been putting up as of late. Let's hope it continues. Good luck, Andre.